Hey guys, today we'll talk about a similar case about which probably many people would know. This case has come before us in a small town called Humble, a quiet area in a corner of Texas. But here, in 2012, a murder took place that stunned everyone, where a mother was stabbed 73 times by her own daughter, along with her girlfriend. Because her mother did not like these relationships, in this case, 16-year-old Kerry Murphy and her 22-year-old girlfriend, Rebecca Keller, murdered Kerry's mother, Mary Ann Murphy. Mary Ann was against her daughter's relationship, so the two girls decided to get rid of her. How would they have made this planning and execution of the crime? Or how can someone kill his own mother Kerry and Rebecca together plan to murder Mary Ann? Rebecca bought a knife for the murder and pretended to forcefully enter the house. And Mary Ann was stabbed 73 times from behind, due to which she died on the spot. After the murder, Kerry told the police that two unknown men broke into the house and killed her mother. However, during the investigation, the police revealed the truth from the conversation and phone records between Kerry and Rebecca. Finally, he faced legal action and got punishment. Rebecca Keller admitted her guilt in court and confessed to planning the murder, buying the knife, and destroying evidence. She was sentenced to 60 years in prison. Kerry Murphy was also found guilty of murder and was given a sentence of 30 years. Now let's see which things come up in this Mad Love interview. If you have any doubts, please watch this video at the end. All your doubts will be cleared if this video gets completed with 1,000 likes, then the next video will come with my face. And I am completely sure that you will definitely complete 1,000 likes on this video.
What was the plan as it evolved?
She wanted to get her mom completely out of her life.
Let me rephrase the question. What was the plot?
Well, to kill her.
It was a love story gone mad.
Paris, tell me 911. I called my mom's name and she's not answering. I heard her scream and everything. I don't know what to do.
And here you are, two teenagers with no criminal record to speak of, carrying out the most vicious attack anyone could imagine. Can you help me understand that?
I mean, I can't understand it myself, you know.
Rebecca Keller and Kerry Murphy were entangled in a forbidden romance that left a beloved mother dead, the victim of a vicious knife attack in the middle of the night.
There were 73 wounds
Yes,
to her body.
I'm aware of that.
Have you seen those crime scene photos?
I have.
You see what butchery you and Kerry did to that woman?
Yes. It's very disturbing.
Together, the couple conspired to murder Mary Ann Murphy.
Like what y'all are trying to say? Are y'all trying to say I killed my mom?
Believing they would then live happily ever after.
She started saying that she was going to plan different ways to my mom.
Was there a sense of relief that now you could be together?
Yeah.
Did you guys have sex the night of the murder?
We may never know which one of y'all actually stabbed her.
But questions remain about what actually happened that fateful night. Which girl lured the other into murder, and who wielded the knife?
Who would you say was the leader and who was the follower?
She was the leader and I was a follower.
Speaking out for the first time ever, Rebecca Keller claims she was manipulated by her crafty 16-year-old lover, Kerry Murphy.
Somehow, you're able to fool the polygraph test. How'd you do that?
But is Keller hiding a cunning criminal mind of her own?
Looking more like the leader and less like an impressionable follower.
Okay, well, I'm done with this interview.
This is the story of Rebecca and Kerry's mad love. Today, deep in the heart of Texas, I'm investigating a case where a tempest of young love turned deadly.
Harris County 911. Somebody just broke into my house. I called my mom's name and she's not answering. I heard her scream and everything. I don't know what to do.
On July 16, 2012, in Humble, Texas, 16-year-old Kerry Murphy called 911. Her mother, Mary Ann Murphy, had been stabbed 73 times in the middle of the night. At first, Kerry claimed it was a shocking home invasion. There were signs of a break-in and a bizarre note left on the kitchen table. But as police dug deeper, a more sinister truth emerged. And at the center of it was a forbidden romance between Kerry and one of her high school classmates, Rebecca Keller.
I kind of had a fear of her mom. Her mom kind of scared me.
Keller and Murphy's obsessive romance erupted in the brutal stabbing death of Murphy's mother, Mary Ann. Both pled guilty to murder. Keller is now serving 60 years in prison, and Murphy received a 30-year sentence. Today, speaking for the first time about the crime, Keller says she wants to bear all. And I want to understand how two teens with no history of violence cross the thin line between love and hate.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Rebecca?
I am actually good.
Good. So your birthday's tomorrow?
Yes.
And you're turning how old?
33.
33 years old.
Yes.
Wow.
I feel so old.
So it's been, 13, 14 years?
Actually, this October will be 13 years.
13 years, right? Since teenage,
Yes.
Rebecca Keller's life changed forever,
Yes.
right? I'm going to ask you to reflect on that girl, that teenager, right?
I don't even know who that person is anymore.
I believe this is your first ever interview,
Yes.
right? So no one in the public arena has ever heard your account of what happened and why. So tell me, why are you here breaking your silence with us today?
Because I feel like the truth needs to be set out.
Rebecca Keller's truth begins just outside Houston, in a small town called Humble.
You grew up with your parents and your brother
I did.
in what some people have described as, quote, the wrong side of town. I'm sure you've heard that, right?
Yes.
You had your share of challenges in school.
I did.
Right.
Yes.
You were in special education because of learning issues, learning disabilities.
Yes.
Your lawyer cited them in court as proof that you could not have been the mastermind behind this crime.
That's correct.
One of your teachers described you as a follower, as insecure in a way. She described what she called the Becca face, when you didn't understand something.
Yes.
It's obvious to her.
I didn't really understand a lot of things growing up as I do now.
But there was one place in school where she could hold her own, as a singer in the high school choir.
How important was that choir?
It was very, very important.
Yeah.
Because I could feel like I could be free.
You climbed the ranks to varsity,
I did.
and you got your jacket.
I did.
What did that jacket mean to you?
It symbolizes the accomplishments that I had in choir, that I pushed myself to the limits to achieve what I wanted to achieve.
That jacket is important to you.
It's very important to me.
Even still?
Even still.
It sounds like you found your place in that choir.
I did.
You also found love. Do you remember the first time you set eyes on Kerry Murphy?
It's like words could not describe how that feeling is when you set eyes on somebody that you feel so connected with. I felt I was lifted in the sky. I felt like that I could be free and feel like that I could be just me and not be having a mask on my face around other people. I could be myself.
Unlike you at the time, Kerry was reputed to be very much a leader.
Yes.
Self-assured, confident, right? People say she had a big personality.
She had a huge personality.
And she had a formidable physical stature to match.
Yes, she
fair?
did not look like she was no 15-year-old.
Right. And people say your connection with her, your connection together was like magic.
Yes.
Instant and exclusive bond.
We were best friends.
Yeah. Now you say friend, but you mean?
At that time, we were friends. And then we established a relationship.
It sounds almost like the two of you created a world of your own.
We did.
A bubble?
A bubble, in a way. We would actually be like in a room to where we were locked from things that could hurt us, and we just felt like we could just be as one.
But not everyone is happy about your
No.
newfound love, right? The record suggests your mom wasn't so thrilled about it, but Mary Ann Murphy was dead set against it.
Yes.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
And why do you think? Was it the age difference?
I don't think it was because of the age difference. I think it's because of me being a woman.
The sexuality?
Yes. Her mom was very against that. Like, I remember hearing her mom tell her that I'd rather you be pregnant by a black man than me with a woman.
Because that's the worst thing she could have thought of at that
That's
point.
the worst thing she could ever thought of.
The age difference was an issue for her.
It was.
Kerry was a 15-year-old freshman,
Yes.
right? You were a 19-year-old senior.
Yes.
And that's understandable. I mean, you know, I'm a parent, and at that age, like when you're in your 20s and 30s,
Yeah.
4 years isn't such a big age difference. But when you're a teenager and separated by a legal bright line,
Right.
that's a big deal. I can understand why she would object to the age difference. Can you?
I mean, looking back now, yes.
There was a lot of sneaking around going on back
There
then,
was,
right?
you know, teenagers, they sneak around.
Right. Mary Ann was the one trying to burst the bubble that
Yes.
you and Kerry had created, right?
Yes,
Is that fair?
that's fair.
It sounds like because of that, both you and Kerry came to hate her.
I didn't really come to hate her. I just came to dislike her.
Really?
Yes.
Not stronger than dislike?
No.
She was standing in the way of what was, according to you, the most important thing in the world at that point, that relationship.
So far, Rebecca Keller's responses to my questions were straightforward, her demeanor almost calm. But I knew it was a facade, one that hid a primal fear.
At one point, you referred to yourselves in writing as Romeo and Juliet. You remember
Yes,
that?
I remember that. It was based off of the Shakespeare story. Her father keeping her away from this boy, and it's basically similar.
Star-crossed lovers,
Yes.
right? Do you remember how it ends?
That they both drink poison to kill each other.
They both martyr themselves or are martyred to love. They're the ones that die.
Yes.
It's not the same as your story.
No.
There's Dawn and Mary Ann. These pictures were taken of our wedding, so I dug them out. Mary Ann was very goofy. She was funny. She really had the best personality ever. This is Carrie, our flower girl.
Bobby Stevens was Mary Ann Murphy's best friend. Back in 2012, Mary Ann was concerned about her teenage daughter Kerry's relationship with an older high school girl, Rebecca Keller.
I talked to her every morning on her way to work and every day on her way home. And Mary Ann did not like the idea of Kerry and Rebecca being friends. There was an age gap there.
By May 2011, Keller had graduated high school, while teenage Kerry Murphy was continuing to see her against the wishes of her parents, Mary Ann and Don Murphy.
Don Murphy catches you in the family home a couple of times.
Twice, from what I can remember.
Including once in the shower.
Yes.
Marianne catches you a couple other times, including once in bed with Kerry. How many times were you in the room?
Multiple times.
How many? Dozens of times?
At least every night.
Every night?
Every night.
Were you just blatantly ignoring the limits that they were setting for their 16-year-old daughter?
It wasn't that I was ignoring it, but I was going based off of what she wanted to do.
What Kerry wanted?
Yes.
Why wouldn't you tell Kerry, Kerry, this is not a good idea?
I would.
I'm a little older, I'm a little wiser. Your parents are setting these limits. We should respect them.
I've actually had multiple conversations with her about that. Yeah. And she just refused.
But you also refused if you were going to be over there every night.
I did.
After almost a year of her daughter sneaking around with Rebecca Keller, Marianne decides enough is enough and calls the police.
There's an arrest for trespassing.
Yes.
Marianne is now escalating the obstacles.
Yes.
And to boot, technically, you were an adult and Kerry was a child.
Yes. But in my mind frame, I wasn't. My mind didn't really develop as well as everybody else's mind did. So that's why I was more hanging around younger people, because my mindset, not because of my age. Mm-hmm. So that's why me and Kerry became very close friends. Mm-hmm. You know, I may have been 19 physically, but mentally I was like 14, 15.
Did you understand at 19 what a bright line that is in the law?
No, I didn't.
But you knew that you could get in big trouble.
I knew, yes.
Right? Statutory rape.
Yes.
Right? Child sexual abuse.
Yes.
You were committing those crimes.
Right.
Then, Marianne Murphy confiscated her daughter's phone.
And that was a big deal for you. Tell me why.
Because I felt like it was cutting off my communication with her.
You were also worried about material that you had sent or exchanged with Kerry.
I was.
What kind of material?
Like sexual text messages, pictures.
So under the law, that could be considered child pornography?
Yes. I freaked out, you know, because that's basically throwing all my life away.
So in order to avert child sexual abuse charge, you turned to murder?
Yes.
It turns out the two teenagers had already been plotting to murder Kerry's mother for 3 months.
You know, Kerry's the one that came to me asking me about everything and how to do everything, and I was like, I really don't know, but...
Everything meaning?
Like getting rid of her mom.
Killing her mom?
Yes.
And who started hatching the plot to kill her? Was it you, or was it Kerry, or was it both of you?
Well, it was mainly Kerry.
Mainly Kerry?
Yes.
But you were involved?
I was
involved,
involved,
that,
yes.
Right? You don't deny that?
I don't deny that at all.
Mm-hmm. And who would you say was the leader and who was the follower?
She was the leader and I was the follower.
No doubt about it?
No doubt about it.
When Marianne Murphy threatened to hack open Kerry's phone, the young lovers' premeditation turned into panic, and the murder plot thickened.
What was the plan as it evolved?
She wanted to get her mom completely out of her life.
Let me rephrase the question. What was the plot?
Well, to kill her.
To kill her? To kill her how?
Any type of way.
And I know there were a lot of different stories later told to police by both of you. But let me ask you this, in as much detail as you can recall. Rebecca, tell me what really happened that night.
They were, to me, what a fairy tale family looked like.
Christina and Kevin Sullivan were like family to Marianne Murphy.
My home was a little bit broken, but that family welcomed not only myself, but my now wife and daughter into theirs. And I referred to Marianne as Ma. They were the old school type, and that's the name that stuck.
Marianne was a wonderful mother. She moved mountains to make sure those kids had a good life. And she taught me how to be a good mom. How does this happen to, like, the world's greatest mom?
In July 2012, Marianne Murphy was fed up with her 16-year-old daughter's obsessive relationship with 20-year-old Rebecca Keller, and the young lovers were fed up with her getting in their way. The plot to murder the doting mother began with, of all things, Mexican food and margaritas.
Marianne was going to go out to dinner for what you and Kerry described as a last supper at a Mexican restaurant. I gather you weren't invited to that.
No, I didn't even know they went to a Mexican restaurant.
That was a typical July 15th to go get 55-cent margaritas with Maul.
Marianne would joke that she could have 2 margaritas for cheaper than a Dr. Pepper. It was just a normal evening, a normal summer night, you know, hanging out and talking and chatting. Kerry actually was getting ready for back to school. She and I were shoe shopping while we sat at the table that night.
At the time, it didn't seem like Kerry was acting strange.
After dinner, the Sullivans stopped by the Murphys' house before calling it a night.